But anyway, this video is called "It's Not the Ford Mustang's Fault That You Crashed Like a Dummy," and I agree. This video is for educational purposes only. YouTube, do not take this video down. I'm just showing people what to do and what not to do. Let's see what it is. Aha! Oh! Damn! Damn! Damn!
The Ford Mustang.
At least that dude was on the track. At least, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
The crowd killer. That's the standard response to the hundreds of videos out there of idiots in a Mustang leaving a car meet, trying to rip a sick burnout, and spinning onto the sidewalk.
Damn,
Classic
take them
stuff.
Team Jordans. Them J's is ass. Take them Team Jordans off.
Leaving a car
those
meet,
ain't shit.
trying to rip a sick burnout.
Them's just a zero rings.
Mexican Jordans.
Michael Jordan never played in these bitches. Take them off. My God.
Spinning onto the sidewalk. Classic stuff.
Wait,
well, you can and should blame the driver. A lot of people say there's another factor at play.
Bro, can you leave my nigga alone, bro? Like,
Wait, bro, y'all, bro, we
yeah,
this nigga's God damn. He look like the officer's boots, bro. Why them shit so long on his big ass calves? Now you know.
Long ass shorts.
Bro, hell no. Hell no. Nah, he fucked up this day.
Bro.
Nah. He should have been like his man's next to him and wore Vans or whatever the fuck those are. Anyway, my bad. Continue.
Sidewalk. Classic stuff. And while you can and should blame the driver, a lot of people say there's another factor at play. The solid rear axle. Until 2015, the Ford Mustang was the last passenger car in America to still use that old school setup instead of independent rear suspension. Sounds suboptimal. And Ford's decision to finally ditch it proves it was becoming a problem as time marched on, right? Not
Wrong.
quite. So we've got Nick back to show you why a solid axle.
He look like
isn't-
Aaron Judge, or what's his name? Alex
the
Judge,
fuck
the
he don't. He look like- he look
football,
like
baseball
Johnny
player.
Sins.
What? Is this pre-recorded and scripted? Are you talking about my stream or the video? Because both are pre-recorded and scripted. This is scripted. Everything is scripted.
Nah,
right
he
now.
don't like
the
Aaron
real
Judge.
reason
Aaron
Mustangs
Judge
keep
likes
turning
his
into
This nigga looks like he looks a little bit like Aaron Judge, bro. He looks like Hitman from the Hitman video games. Anyway, all right.
unguided missiles.
All right, what he
That
say?
solid axle isn't the real reason Mustangs keep turning into unguided missiles. And better yet, how to actually drive one like a professional.
Yeah, there's people that
car
rip
is this
Mustangs.
anyway?
That's my Mustang.
Oh.
Damn, that nigga got a tipped over peanut M&M head. All right, my fault. But just
Hey, that would be you in the future. Oh, you.
sorry, that's not funny. Don't make fun of
Oh,
people.
that tree look good back there. I just peeped it.
What? My tree?
Look nice and
I told
fluffy.
you. Yeah, see, I told you the tree is nice. I'm saying, I mean,
Okay.
I gotta actually fluff it. I gotta open it up, but it's nice. I don't know where the remote is either.
Now, I'm not out here to defend the Mustang just because I own one, or two. I actually bought this car specifically to use as a teaching platform for my car control clinic. It's a relatively cheap front engine, rear wheel drive platform
wanna do
with
that.
an archaic suspension design that does not hide your mistakes. The solid rear axle
Hey,
is
bro,
a
I was just joking, by the way. Like, if I ever do come to your class, just know that I was joking. All right, I'm just playing. It's just, I'm sorry.
kind of thing you'd find at the back end of a pickup truck. It means that the rear wheels don't move independently of each other. If they did, we would call that independent rear suspension. But this is dependent suspension? So why is that actually bad?
Well, to demonstrate, I'm gonna take this Mustang around a corner at speed, and I'm gonna hit a speed bump with just the inside tires. Watch what happens.
Catch it.
You see? Oh, you don't see it?
Wait, yo, can we add that edit to the videos, bro? That could be fucking hilarious. That was funny because that shit threw me off. Can we use that, please? That's hilarious.
Just the inside tires. Watch what happens.
See?
That's not even supposed to be that funny. That's not even supposed to be that funny. I think what could come of it could be even funnier. And the nigga's head shape is just insane.
Inside tires. Watch what happens.
See?
Damn, that nigga should look like a
Oh, you don't see it?
Bro, his head is long as fuck.
That nigga got a negative.
That nigga said it's not that funny. Leave me alone, bro. I think it's hilarious.
See? You see?
Oh, my bad. My bad.
Oh, you don't see it?
As you can see here, when the right tire hits the speed bump, the left tire moves as well. We used a speed bump like this so we could place it exactly where we wanted to on track. But the curbs at a place like Buttonwillow or Road Atlanta would be more severe even than this. Even looking just at the outside wheel, you can tell from the tire movement exactly when the inside tire hits that curb.
Facts.
In the corner, weight transfers to the outside wheel. If you're going fast, you're right at the limited grip, and anything that upsets that tire can cause it to break loose. You want to be able to take advantage of the full width of the track.
Wow.
If you have a car that's able to get up on the curbs, it means you can go that much faster. A car that can't use the curbs has to take a slower line and ultimately go a longer distance. Sometimes the fastest way around a corner is just to go right over it. One of the most amazing places to see this is Aussie V8 supercars.
Yeah, that's OD.
Their suspension is tuned in such a way that they spend almost as much time in two wheels as they do on four.
Nah, this is OD.
Now, I won't be able to go full Bathurst here in this Mustang, but let's take the speed bump again with just a little bit more speed.
How you caught that bitch?
As you can see, when I hit that bump, the rear end lost all grip and I went into a big slide. It took a long time for me to gather that back up.
To get sciencey for a moment, the reason that the car breaks loose like this is because of something called the coefficient of friction. Every pairing of surfaces has a coefficient of friction. Glass to glass, wood to carpet, and in this case, rubber to asphalt. It's a number that describes the amount of friction these two surfaces have. There's actually two versions, the coefficient of static friction and the coefficient of sliding friction. Static friction is always higher than sliding friction. This is why every time you push a heavy piece of furniture on a carpeted floor, you gotta give it some extra oomph to get it going. But once it's moving, it gets a little bit easier. The same thing is happening here with the tire. At the speed we're going, we're asking the outside tire to do almost all the work. As the inside tire goes up, the amount of grip the outside tire has is reduced because it's being put up on its edge.
Yeah.
This pushes the tire beyond that threshold of static friction.
Wow.
Once that's happened, you're now into sliding friction. And since that coefficient is lower, your
makes
tires
it easier
won't
to
regain grip until they've slowed down.
Wow! What the fuck? Damn!
When you buy a Mustang, you gotta watch this video. So you
He just put me. That's a great way of. Oh wow.
So, how does independent rear suspension react?
I look good 24/7. 24/7. All y'all 10s, I'm an 11.
Turn this shit off. Get this shit off the airwaves.
This 2013 FRS uses a multi-link rear suspension setup, which uses control arms that connect the wheels directly to the subframe.
Now again, I'm gonna hit the same bump right at the limited grip. The speed might be different because we're on different tires, but that's okay, because what really matters is that we're right at that threshold of grip.
Barely even. Barely even.
Yeah, mad dust.
That's so crazy.
This time you can see the outside tire stays consistently planted as the inside tire hits the speed bump. Even though the body of the FRS is still affected by the bump, the outer tire stays flat to the ground. Both of these cars are on factory lowering springs, so the suspension setup is fairly comparable. This particular FRS may be a little underdamped, which is why it takes a bit longer for that inner tire to settle, but it's the outer tire that's giving you grip.
We went right over it, the car absorbed all of that impact, and
Well, you got a Mustang?
It didn't care.
But independent rear suspension has another advantage over solid rear axle: weight. Specifically, unsprung weight. With independent rear suspension, each rear spring is just managing the weight of the wheel, the tire, the brake, and the hub assembly. With the solid rear axle, you've got all of that, plus the solid axle housing, and the differential, and part of the drive shaft added in. Weight has inertia, which means that when a bump pushes that wheel up, it comes up with more force. And then, because of inertia, it takes more energy to push the wheel back down and give you traction again. More inertia means more of that energy also transfers into the body of the vehicle. Despite being underdamped, the FRS took the bump way better. The heavy rear axle of the Mustang makes for a bumpier, more clumsy ride. And if you're on track, you might think you need to avoid curbs outright. But there's a way you can still take the fast line, even with a solid axle.
To avoid losing grip in the Mustang, you gotta ask it for what it can give. In this case, that means releasing just a little bit of steering angle right as we hit the bump. So here we go again, full speed over the bump on the inside.
Yeah.
And just that little reduction in the steering angle was enough. The car didn't lose any grip whatsoever. We maintained full control and
I want to do
frankly,
this
went
so
through that
bad.
corner
I
with a
want to
lot of speed.
Once you understand how this works in the Mustang, you can see how it actually works in every car. If you're on a racetrack with a hill in the middle of a corner, you want to straighten the wheel out as the car goes light over the crest.
That's actually, there's so many of these things that I do naturally that I don't necessarily understand why, but I understand what it's going to do to the car. Like, I can't explain it, but I just do it. Like, if you ever see me drive in the video game sometimes, like, I'll just do shit that is probably like advanced, but I don't even really know. I just know how to control the car, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But now I want to go back and actually learn what all these things do. Like, I feel like sometimes I'll be trail braking, but I never really knew what trail braking was. You know what I'm saying?
You can actually add more steering angle under compression because you effectively have more grip in that moment.
That's why video games are so important, bro.
Thing. That's true of any car. The solid axle just makes the Mustang more sensitive to these changes in grip. And before you go complaining that this is a modified car and not a fair comparison, it's really not that far from stock. Lowering springs, Bilstein shocks, a panhard bar to correct for the lowered suspension, and some stiffer sway bars. I've also got some Maxxis VR2s.
What kind of bar? A panhard bar? What's that?
It's really not that far from stock. Lowering springs, Bilstein shocks, a panhard bar to correct for the lowered suspension, and some stiffer sway bars. I've also got some Maxxis VR2s to maximize grip, but none of that does anything to change the characteristics of the solid rear axle. A solid axle does have its downsides, but that doesn't mean it's uncontrollable. It's also one of the things that helped keep the Mustang cheap until 2015 when Ford switched it over to independent rear suspension. But there are plenty of race series like SCCA T3 and American Sedan where you can actually see Mustangs from both eras going toe-to-toe. The solid rear axle was certainly a limitation, but it only becomes a limitation at the upper end of cornering performance where lateral load is highest. Certainly not while exiting a parking lot. The solid rear axle even has some advantages at times. With a solid axle, body roll doesn't affect camber like it does with IRS. Cars with IRS need some negative camber because body roll changes the suspension geometry. The upper and lower arms are mounted to the body, so if the whole body leans, the tire leans with it. With a solid axle, however, the rear axle stays flat to the ground regardless of the position of the body. So as the body leans, the tires remain perpendicular to the ground and maintain a good contact patch. In general, the Mustang has the potential to be faster with independent rear suspension. That's why 10 years ago, Ford switched the Mustang to an integral rear link. But the S550 Mustang didn't suddenly put an end to the pony car's reputation. If anything, we see just as many newer Mustangs sliding ditchward as we do older Mustangs. Unfortunately, the reality is that Mustangs are often just too cheap for their own good.
Not the kids, bro. Oh my goodness, bro.
Having an entry-level rear-wheel drive platform with a V8 and a limited slip diff means that there's going to be a high number of burnouts per owner. And once the tires let go, it really doesn't matter what kind of suspension is holding onto the car.
Don't look so serious. What the hell?
Knowing everything you've shown us, the narrative of Mustangs just aimlessly veering into crowds because of the suspension, it really doesn't add up.
Not really. As with most of these topics we've been covering, it's really much less the car and much more the way you drive it. And understanding the limitations of your car, of course, that's important so that you can adapt your inputs to match the machine that you actually have. But ultimately, it's on the driver to understand how to leave a car meet in the right way to not end up in a ditch.
You know, people crashing leaving car meets are like my favorite videos to watch, honestly. I'm a little sad that this might cut down on that supply for everybody. But what is it about that specific situation that so many Mustangs have ended up going sideways in?
Well, honestly, the biggest problem the Mustang has nothing to do with the suspension or the power or the torque or anything like that. It's the price point. It's the fact that you can pick up one of these for $7,000. That's how much I paid for this car. And that's the most torque you can get to the rear wheels for that little amount of money. Yeah. The Mustang's real problem is that it gets cross-shopped with Ultimas.
Yeah, Ford would love to hear that one.
It's really not the axle's fault, right? I mean, if you're achieving tire slip in any suspension
That's true,
design,
bro.
You just have to know what to do with your hands and your feet to compensate for that slip angle.
Dead ass.
That could happen with a solid axle. It could happen with independent suspension. If you do things wrong enough, you could do that in a minivan.
But isn't it true, though, that because the solid rear axle can't react quite as quickly as the independent rear suspension, that a rough patch of uneven asphalt as someone is accelerating out of a turn, like that could be just enough to throw the car into chaos.
But you should be able to catch it.
Yes, but only if you're already at or above the limits of the tires. So really the mistake happened long before you hit that bump.
Well, that about does it. Be sure to send this video to your Mustang driving friends and tell them to stop.
I don't think I have. Do I have any Mustang driving friends?
For their insurance claims. By the way, we've messed around with the Mustang, the S2000. Let us know in the comments what car you want to see next featured in one of these videos. And hey, thanks for watching.
Tough. That was a good video. That was very educational. Now, some of that information I feel like I didn't retain properly, but I have a more of a understanding of what the fuck is the problem now. You feel me? You see me? So